Welcome to Mining Review Africa at DRC Mining Week 2025. Today I'm speaking to Wouter Jordaan, Director of SRK Consulting Congo. Wouter, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How has consultants' relationships with mining clients changed, and what can SRK Consulting Congo contribute to the future of the sector in the DRC?
Yeah, so definitely, over the past couple of years, what we've seen is mining companies like to work more in a collaborative way with consultants. So it used to be the mining company and the consulting company, but we seem to be forming teams now, and that's been growing. What miners are looking for really is multidisciplinary teams. So we want multidisciplinary solutions to their problems. It needs to be sustainable, and the only way that you can do it is to actually understand what each of the other disciplines are doing in the field or in the project that we work on.
Great. What is the nature of SRK Consulting's participation at the 2025 DRC Mining Week, and what do you hope to take away from the event?
So this year we celebrate our 15 years anniversary in the DRC. So we started the company in 2010, and in that regard, we had quite a big attendance this year at the Mining Week. We had people from our China office here, from Beijing. DRC, we had our local representatives and then 8 representatives from South Africa, representing quite a multitude of disciplines.
That's great. In terms of environmental and social issues, what local regulations and standard in the DRC govern how mining companies work?
So it's actually quite complex. So in 2018, the new mining regulations came into play, but we're still working with 2002 Environmental Act. And during the course of the development of the mining regulations, we've also seen a huge increase in the number of mining companies that's taking up sustainable standards, like the responsible mining standards. We've seen a lot of copper mark, the copper mark being adopted as a responsible mining standard. We believe some mines that's looking at IRMA going into the future. So that's gaining traction, and that's really coming from all the pressures that are being placed on the mining companies to be more transparent and show that they can produce responsibly.
What potential areas for improvement exist within the legislation of the Democratic Republic of Congo?
So I think there are 2 areas that stands out for me. The one, I believe that the cadastre minier and the cadastre foncier, basically the cadastre minier basically looks at the land rights for mines, and then the cadastre foncier looks at the land rights for people. And those 2 cadastres don't always speak to each other, and you get conflicts with that. So I think, there's a huge opportunity to digitalize that, to get the 2 platforms to talk to each other, because I think that will already resolve a lot of issues and planning issues that mining has, that the government has, and that what communities would like to settle.
Of course.
And then I think the second one is basically looking at, when you look at an environmental impact assessment, or if you look at environmental impacts, because mining is taking up such a big footprint, and you've got a multitude of mines. Look at Kolwezi, for instance. We need to look at a better framework where we can get land use planning to be done, I think, a lot better in future. And then also, if we look at environmental impacts, is to start looking at bigger areas. So, like, for instance, what water stewardship is doing for us at the moment, it's looking at the catchment level, not only at the mine level, because you can't only evaluate your own impacts, you actually need to understand your impacts in terms of how it impacts the bigger environment and how that actually impacts on you as a mine.
Of course. This year marks the 20th anniversary of DRC Mining Week. How has your participation in the event over the years benefited your company?
So I think it gives us a lot of insight of what's happening. We've got many role players here, a lot of banks, a lot of investors, a lot of mining companies, social development talks, and it gives us a bit of insight in terms of what is being planned for the DRC. I think there's been a lot of talk about infrastructure. The DRC really needs that to really get to the next level, and I think from what I've heard, there's a lot of investment that's going into that. If we're looking at getting metals and minerals out of a country, railway is quite important for that, proper road infrastructure. If we start looking at, waste reduction and recycling activities, we need electricity for that and a stable power supply. So we're seeing a lot of those opportunities, and, SRK is involved in quite a few disciplines. It's not only mining, but we also get involved in civil engineering, those type of things, and it gives us a bit of insight in terms of where the market is going to, and we can then strategize in terms of that.
Great. Wouter, thank you so much for joining us.
Great, thank you very much.